Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hook up two of these buttons to cycle through some videos, and those are the videos that we captured earlier. And so let's go in and start setting that up. And to do that, I'm going to grab let's see here, I'm going to grab basically a sphere that's had its normals inverted. So under here we have a flipped sphere, and I can just grab this here. And so you know, if you have a really keen eye and understand some lighting settings, you might realize that the shading is kind of a little strange on here. But basically what's happening is that instead of kind of having geometry look like it's from the outside, it's kind of from the inside out. And so when we apply a video to this, it's going to kind of render it, and we can put ourselves inside of it, if that makes sense. And so in order to start building that up, I'm just going to add a video player element. And then I'm going to add another little script that I have here called switch video. And so the switch video is going to take a list of videos. And so I'm just going to set 3 because that's how many I captured. But potentially you could, you know, kind of extend this to be as many as you wanted. And then I'm going to go ahead and start assigning these video clips. And since it's looking for a video clip and I only have these in my project, I can kind of easily link these up here like that. And then the next thing you'll notice is that it's looking for an object called a fade cube. And so what I've done is I created a basically cube that has a small script on it that fades the alpha value of it. And what that's going to be used for is kind of providing a nice transition between these videos, because when you do switch videos with the video player, there is a small hiccup and it kind of removes the old video, puts the new one in, and by hiding that with kind of a faded out black cube, we can get around that and have a kind of smoother transition. So I have my fade cube right here. All right, and the way the fade cube is going to work is I'm actually going to kind of place it directly on my head so that it blacks out my entire vision, and then fades to, you know, fades its alpha value out, something like this, and then I can see through it. So blacking out and then fading through. All right, so to do that, we're gonna make it a child of my camera here. Right there, and so now it's taking over, so now I'm just gonna position it until I can see it in the frustum right there, and so now it's taking over my entire vision. But that is what we want for now, and it's gonna fade out every time we switch these videos. All right, and so just to start testing things, I'm just gonna hit the play button and see what we get here. So you can see that's kind of positioned there, that fades out. And it looks like our video player doesn't have a target, it's looking for a render texture, or it doesn't have a, well, let's see here, I think it's looking for a mesh here. Can have that, play on awake, render mode, material override. Whoop. Let's see here. So that's the camera on the far clip plane, video player, whoop. So basically we need to configure this to be able to loop this 360 video. And so I think what we want is not the render texture. Thought we were able to, let's see here, apply basically the mesh renderer here. So let's see. This is how we're scaling the video. Looking for a video clip, play it on awake. And this is the sphere that we're gonna wanna go on. So I think what we can do here is change that to be the video material right there, and then inside here I believe we can change maybe material override to be the video material. It's looking for a renderer right there. Okay, there we go. So basically it's overriding the material that is applied to a specific mesh renderer. So fumbled through the setup there a little bit, but now if we go ahead and hit play, we should, there we go. So now we're seeing this video. And it looks a little odd down in the actual scene here, but you can see that when we kind of go inside the sphere, this is the video that we captured earlier. And so you'll notice that it looks pretty static, and that's because it's actually only a 3-second video, and I need to make sure I set this loop parameter there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I have this all hooked up here. I'm going to make sure that I apply my fade cube to my flipped sphere, and then I'm just going to hook up these buttons to transition between them and then kind of position this sphere around myself. So we only need 2 buttons to go forward and backwards. So we can go ahead and delete those other 2. And again, I'm just using the normal kind of Unity UI, which helps with these kind of on-click events here. And so for both of these on-click events, I'm going to apply my I'm going to apply my flipped sphere here and then go into my switch video, and this one on the left will say is previous video, and this one on the right will say is next video. All right, and again, just to test it, so we don't need to fully go in there yet, I'm going to go ahead and hit play, and with the black hue to fade in and out, and now we have the video happening, and I can go ahead and now cycle between them by just selecting these buttons here. You can see we still have the dynamic elements going on with flags moving and the fire, and so we can go ahead and hit that cycle there, and once this loads up we're in a much different environment now. You can see the fires over there, and so these are just kind of 360 videos that are playing much like we would anticipate here. So I can cycle there, and now we're back to this position here. And so now what I'm going to do is grab this sphere and kind of have it encompass the entire player. And so we'll do something like that, and then I'm just going to increase its size. So we can do something like that, and then now I'm actually just going to go and start removing all these elements in my scene because I don't really need these anymore. So we can do that, turn that off, turn that off, turn that off. There we go. All right, and so we should be able to go ahead and hit the play button now and view this in VR. And you can see that right there down at the bottom, and you will notice that there's actually some lighting going on in the scene. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and unplay it, and I'm going to go to the video sphere here and change its material. Instead of just using the standard shader, I'm going to go down here and select the unlit texture. And for this next sequence, I'm going to go ahead and maximize it on play so you can really get the full effect. And now I'll enter VR here, and once this black cube fades out, you can see we have the video rendering. You can see the dynamic elements there with the flag, and we have the fire over there, and now I can start navigating through using this menu and really kind of seeing the different videos, and basically I'm just cycling through them. So we have them here, you can see the fire back there, and I can just kind of continually click through them and really just kind of reposition myself in a different perspective. But really, you know, it looks and feels like the scene itself because I have all these 3D elements, but I'm not taking any of the performance hit because I'm just using this kind of rendered 360 video. And you'll notice that it isn't quite a seamless loop as these kind of jump a little bit, and that's always going to happen when you have a little bit of randomness, but you could potentially kind of edit and work with the video to have a more seamless loop. And so I'm going to go ahead and hop out of VR here and unplay it. So someone was asking about the using a unlit material or unlit shader, and so basically I just did that to kind of remove some of the lighting and effects, and it works a little bit better for rendering that video, but it's not necessarily required depending on the effects that you're trying to kind of portray there.